I feel like doing some baddie makeup, so let's try. I also feel like doing a little color, so let's try. So first things first, we gotta do some skin priming and prepping here. So I'm doing the usual, a gripping primer, a setting spray, and then some lip oil. Today I'm using the NYX the Face Glue Gripping Primer with the matching setting spray, and then using my e.l.f. lip oil. And just to, get everything nice and tacky and hydrated and ready to go for this baddie makeup because we want it to last. I also think that I accidentally did like all drugstore here. I think I used a Morphe eyeshadow palette, and like technically that's on the drugstore side of Ulta, and then everything else is like regular drugstore brands. Because I was really just trying to use stuff that I haven't used on camera in a while. I like to kind of mix it up and shop my stash and just show you guys different stuff so you don't look at the same stuff all the time. So after I get this skin prep done and that is nice and dried down and tacky, I'm going to go in with the NYX pink color corrector to brighten up under the eyes, and I'm also going to take my Relove palette and do some color correcting with the green, mostly on like the cheek and chin area, and kind of cancel out some redness. And I want to cancel out my dark circles, but also just kind of brighten up on the under eye. In the spirit of baddie makeup, I really wanted to try some techniques that I haven't tried before. I've just been experimenting a lot with my base routine lately, and I'm kind of loving it. So I'm going to do some underpainting today. So I already kind of did the brightening under eye corrector as some light, brightening under eye or underpainting. And now I'm going to use this e.l.f. Halo Glow filter in this deep bronze shade. I believe this is in the shade Tan. Definitely like a bronzer shade for me, as you can tell, and we are just going to paint this on underneath. I figured that this would be the best thing that I already owned for underpainting for something like this, because I put the Halo Glow filter under my foundation all the time in like a normal foundation shade for myself, and then I just have this other bronzer shade for the days that I want a more of a glowy bronzer. So I thought, let's underpaint with it. It'll look gorgeous underneath. I already know it's not going to cause problems, and maybe this tan shade will give us some kind of underpainting vibes. And it definitely did. I am like really feeling the underpainting all of a sudden. Really into that. I'm kind of mixing together the Bryn makeup tutorial and then like the TikTok baddie underpainting, like almost like the UK baddie makeup with the underpainting. Kind of mixing them together, like I said, just experimenting with my base, and I'm kind of loving it. So I get this all blended out, and then I'm going to take my Wet n Wild tinted moisturizer, which is just a nice like hydrating, medium coverage, nice foundation type of product that I love. And I'm just going to start kind of in the center of the face and bounce that all over just like I normally would. And oh my gosh, you guys will see for yourself. I feel like it looks so good with the underpainting. I just feel like it looks like a natural, shading to the skin, and all the products I use are kind of glowy, like the Halo Glow and then the tinted moisturizer. So it looks glowy and natural in a way, but it also just looks really snatched. Like, oh my gosh, I love it. This is how that looks after you just kind of bounce with a beauty blender that tinted moisturizer over the top, and I am loving that. I think that that looks absolutely phenomenal. So I'm just going to put a teeny tiny bit of concealer right in the very kind of inner corner of the under eye and just let that sit for a bit and let that dry down a little bit while we go in with some cream contouring and blush products. So I'm just taking my CoverGirl True Blend, what is this called? I think it's called the Beauty Balm, and this is like the very, very gray, cool tones contour balm that they just came out with. It is purely a gray, like cool tone contour, but I'm in love with it. And I am mistaken. I thought I was using all drugstore here, but here is a little Tarte product. These are the Man Eater liquid blushes. As you can see, it's freaking gorgeous, but I honestly think this is the only high-end product that I used. So freaking good. And then once I get that blush blended out, this is also a new technique that I've been using. I just take that same exact brush and I start blending out the concealer. We let it sit for a while, so it's gonna be nice and like kind of dried down a little bit at full coverage. So you just wanna blend it out and just look how seamless the blend from the under eye concealer into that blush is. It just makes it look so flawless and seamless. Like I just said, it's just perfectly blended with minimal effort and it looks so good. So now I'm using the Wet n Wild translucent powder to bake under the eyes and the sides of the nose like I always do. I like to bake under the eyes for the longevity purposes and along the sides of the nose, but it also creates a nice little I don't know what to call it, like a canvas or like a little net in case I have eyeshadow fallout. Not that I did or anything, but it's just kind of what I like to do because I like to do my base first. I just have that powder there as a safety net. And today I did set my chin a little bit because I was actually getting ready for a very, very long day of activities and I did not want my chin makeup going anywhere because that is kind of where I touch my face the most throughout the day. So as you can see, we are using the Morphe 9C palette. This is a really cool toned, interesting palette. There's kind of like a couple camel brown colors, more cool toned browns, and then some greens and some blues in here. And I did want to do a little pop of color, like I said, but I really didn't do anything like super vibrant. I did like a more muted pop of color because this blue, I used the darker blue in the palette, and both of the blues are matte. So I feel like I don't reach for this palette very often because typically when I do a pop of color, it's a shimmer. And I feel like that's just why I haven't used it in a long time. But I honestly just put that like medium matte blue on the lid and I just blended it right out and it just looks gorgeous. And I feel like having this more muted blue, or really probably any like pop of color like blue, purple, green, I feel like it really subtly makes your eye color like really pop. And I really loved that. It doesn't look very over the top or very like in your face, but it still makes your eye color really stand out, if that makes sense. So now I'm actually taking the dark matte purple in this palette. This is an all matte palette, by the way. So I'm taking that dark purple and I'm just smudging that along the lash line and giving that a quick blend out. I always like to give myself a little bit of a eyeshadow eyeliner to make my eyes look a little bit more defined, thicker eyeshadows, all that good stuff. So here I am taking a powder bronzer and I am just going to basically bronzer, blush, contour, all that stuff. I like to go over it with the corresponding powder. Like I have a cream and then powder step girly. I just like to give my face a little bit more time to air dry while I do my eyes and then go in with powders at that point. So I did a matte bronzer and then I kind of wanted to channel again more of that like UK baddie, and they're always using a shimmery bronzer after they use a matte one. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm using the Milani Baked bronzer and this is a very glowy bronzer. All over the forehead and all over the cheek area, kind of over the bronzer, contour, and blush, like on the whole cheek area, just bronzing everything up, the chin, the nose, everything. Then I'm gonna go in again with another Milani Baked product. I'm just trying to use stuff like the oldies but goodies, man. They're so good. There's a reason they're still in my collection after all these years. And I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with the creams. I'm going to put that mainly where that blush was, and then after that's kind of blended where it's supposed to be, I use that same brush to dust off the bake under the eyes. And as you can see, it looks freaking gorgeous. It just looks so seamless and beautiful. And I'm just loving the way this skin looks. I love the eyes in this too. I love the subtle pop of color. I just was really feeling this look, honestly, you guys. So I dust away the bake with that blush brush, and then we're going to use some setting spray on the skin, and then I just kind of finish off the eyes underneath with that dark purple and blend it out with the camel color. And I'm also going to use some, do my normal brow situation, the NYX Thick It Stick It brow gel, the fiber brow gel, the Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil. Wow, I'm really blanking on a lot of words today. And then I'm using the e.l.f. Lash and Roll Mascara. Also, I'm using a little touch of the new e.l.f. powder, the Halo Glow powder. This I use very, very lightly. It is nice and glowy. It's beautiful. It's kind of true to its word. It is a lot more full coverage than the face powders that I normally use. So I am using it very, very sparingly. But I have been liking it. So now I'm just going to finish off the eyes, and then we will move on to the lips. The last step with the eyes that I wanted to take, actually I decided this at the last minute, was to use this No Budge shadow stick from e.l.f. in this blue color because it matched the other blue on the top of my eyes so perfectly. And I put that in the lower lash line and the waterline actually. And it just tied everything together. And again, it's very subtle, but it makes the eye color pop, and it looked so good. Like I said, I was really feeling this look, okay? So now I'm going to finish off just a really simple lip. I've been loving these e.l.f. $2 lip liners. My only beef with them is that the name of the shade, I'm pretty sure this is the Mauve Aside shade, but the shade name isn't on the pencil, so I can't really be too sure, but I have every single shade. They're all so good and so versatile. Then I'm going to just use my e.l.f. Seriously Satin lipstick. I want it to be as nude as possible because that's kind of the look for the baddie makeup. And then I wanted to make it a little bit more cool tone. So as you can see here, I am putting on a very, very cool toned, like almost grayish nude lip gloss here. This one's from Milani. It's so gorgeous whenever you want a more cool tone lip. As you can see right there, it tones it down just enough and makes it more cool tone. So I feel like it kind of tied in the eyes a little bit more because we are definitely doing some cool toned eyes today. And that is the final look, and I am loving it. This is in daylight with no filter, no vanity lighting or anything like that. Again, just loving it. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye.